Welcome back. In our last explainer, we really dug into object-oriented programming and how it gives PHP all that power and structure. Well, if you thought that was cool, just wait till you see the incredible ecosystem that's been built on top of it. So, let's dive in and explore the professional toolkit that turns PHP code into powerful, real-world applications. Having that clean, object-oriented code, that's really just the starting line. To build scalable, professional-grade applications, you need a solid toolkit. We're talking frameworks for architecture, package managers for sharing code, and testing suites to make sure your code actually works. This is the next logical step in your journey. So today, we're going to map out the 4 pillars of any modern PHP workflow. We'll kick things off with architectural blueprints, then we'll tap into the global code library. After that, we'll see how to automate our codebase, and finally, we'll learn how to build real confidence through testing. All right, first up, architectural blueprints. Every great application doesn't start with a line of code. It starts with a solid, well-thought-out structure. And that structure comes from a framework. The best way to think of it is like professional scaffolding for your entire project. It handles all the repetitive, complicated stuff, things like routing, sessions, and authentication, so you can focus on building the features that actually make your application special. It's all about not reinventing the wheel. Now, in the PHP world, 2 names dominate, Laravel and Symfony. But they're not just competitors. They really represent 2 different philosophies. On one hand, you've got Laravel, which is all about the developer experience. Its syntax is beautiful and expressive, helping you build applications fast. It's an amazing choice for startups or any project where speed is critical. On the other hand, there's Symfony. It's more like a collection of decoupled, reusable components. It's incredibly modular, super precise, and perfect for those complex, long-term enterprise apps where stability is everything. And what's really interesting is that many frameworks, including Laravel, actually use Symfony's components under the hood. This right here is the whole point. Frameworks turn massive architectural decisions into simple, established conventions. So instead of your team arguing for weeks about where to put database logic, the framework just gives you a model directory and says, put it here. This makes your projects way more predictable, easier to maintain, and honestly a lot simpler for new developers to jump into because the rules of the game are already set. Okay, let's move on to our second pillar. We've got our structure. Now, how do we pull in amazing code from the massive PHP community without creating a total mess? The answer is Composer. And let me tell you, Composer is arguably the single most important tool in the entire modern PHP ecosystem. It's a dependency manager. All that means is you tell it which libraries your project needs, and Composer handles downloading them, installing them, and managing them for you. It's that simple. If you've ever worked with Node.js, this is going to feel really familiar. You already get the power of NPM, right? Well, Composer serves that exact same purpose for PHP. It's the gateway that connects your little project to this huge global library of open source packages for everything you can imagine, from payment gateways to image tools. And it all works with 2 key files. First, you have composer.json. Think of this as your shopping list. You just list what you need. Then, when you install everything, Composer creates a composer.lock file. Now this file, this is the secret sauce. It records the exact versions of every single package that got installed. Committing this lock file is absolutely crucial because it guarantees that every developer on your team and every server you deploy to is using the identical set of dependencies. It completely eliminates those, well, it works on my machine headaches. And where does Composer find all these packages? It looks them up on Packagist. Packagist is the central hub, this huge searchable library for pretty much all public PHP packages out there. It makes finding and using third-party code incredibly easy. Okay, so we've got a framework, and Composer is juggling dozens of external packages for us. Let's move on and see how we make this whole thing work together without any friction. This brings up a really important question. Back in the old days, you'd have this giant block of require once statements at the top of every single file. How do modern apps avoid that? How does PHP just magically know where to find the class you want to use? The magic trick is called Autoloading. It's a core PHP feature that lets you set up a rulebook for finding files. So when your code needs to use a class for the very first time, PHP just follows those rules, which usually map a class's name directly to its file path, to automatically find and load the right file, right when it's needed. No more manual includes. And here's the absolute best part. You don't even have to write your own autoloader. Composer does it all for you. It scans all your dependencies, figures out their autoloading rules and bundles them all into a single, highly optimized file. Including just this one line at the start of your application connects everything: your code, your framework, and all your packages. It's just so powerful. This metaphor just perfectly captures it. Your file system basically becomes this logical map of your application's structure, and PHP can navigate it instantly, all by itself. So our application is structured, it's connected, it's automated. But how do we know it actually works and that it'll keep working when we make changes? Let's get to the final piece of the puzzle: building confidence through testing. This is a really key mindset shift in modern development. Testing isn't some chore you do at the very end. It's a proactive strategy. It's all about writing code that proves your application behaves exactly like you expect it to. This gives you the confidence to refactor, to add new features, and not have to worry about breaking everything that already works. For years and years, PHPUnit has been the undisputed king of testing in PHP. It's robust, it's feature-rich, and it's used everywhere. But recently, a new tool has really started to gain momentum: Pest. What's cool about Pest is that it's actually built on top of PHPUnit, but it offers a much more modern, expressive syntax that's all about simplicity and readability. Let's see what that actually looks like. Here's a typical test in PHPUnit. It's very structured. You've got a class that extends a test case, and each test is a public method that starts with the word test. It's clear, it's functional, and it gets the job done. Now, look at the exact same test written in Pest. It's a totally different vibe, right? Instead of a class and a method, you just have a simple description and a closure. And the assertion reads just like a sentence: expect the count of the stack to be 0. It's designed to be way more intuitive, almost like you're describing the test in plain English. This quote just nails the philosophical difference. PHPUnit gives you a powerful, structured way to test your code's implementation. Pest, by focusing on describing the behavior you're testing, kind of encourages you to think more about what your application should do instead of just how it does it. It shifts your focus from the mechanics to the purpose. And there you have it. That's the whole shebang. These 4 components: a framework for structure, composer for your dependencies, autoloading for seamless integration, and a testing suite for confidence — that's the complete toolkit for any professional PHP developer today. Mastering these is really the key to building modern, maintainable applications. So now that you understand this core ecosystem, we can start adding layers of quality and interoperability. In our next explainer, we're going to explore static analysis tools, external integrations, and the PHP standards that make all of this possible. This is Developer Roadmaps. Map your path. Build your career.